everyone, Shabby Gamer here, and welcome to our first episode of Global Force Amped. As you can see, our first pay-per-view will be in 5 weeks. That is going to be the G1 Climax Festival, and for that pay-per-view, we're going to upload an episode every single day of the week, and our big finale to that pay-per-view will be on the Sunday. But enough about that, let's have a quick look at the card I've got set for you this evening, and I will let you know straight away that I have made a minor cock-up, but I'm sure you'll see it straight away. And there it is, our first match is scheduled to be Kenny Omega with Matt Jackson taking on Pentagon Jr. Now, instead of pressing the calendar button, I accidentally hit simulate. We will still have this match, I'll do it as an exhibition match, and I'll cut it all together to make it look right, but yeah, the momentum in that won't take effect from that match, I'm afraid, but it's a simple mistake, and I won't be making it again, hopefully. That's what I'm hoping anyway. Our second match is going to be two Mexican legends as Vampiro takes on La Parka. Match number 3 sees the Sumerian Death Squad, Michael Dante and Tommy End, taking on Paul London and Brian Kendrick. We're going to see Andrew Everett taking on Mark Andrews. A special match here for you this evening as Jushin Thunder Liger defends his Global Force Wrestling Intercontinental Championship against Fenix and Shinsuke Nakamura. And our main event this evening it's going to give us a #1 contender for the Global Championship, AJ Styles' Global Championship, as Adam Cole, Kazuchika Okada, Hiroshi Tanahashi and Sabre Jr. collide. Now that Global Championship match will take place on the 4th week of this month. So that'll be in 3 more episodes time. It'll be episode number 4 basically. Because it's the G1 Climax Festival, the pay-per-view, everyone's going to be already involved in that anyway. So we want to make sure that the championship match is done before then. So it will happen on week number 4 of Amped. So yeah, without further ado, let's get straight into our first match, which I shall put together now. And here we go. That first match is Kenny Omega with Matt Jackson taking on Pentagon Jr. And as you can see, I've finally got the loading screens to work for the creator's show as well. How great does that look? It puts a whole extra level of realism into this universe mode. And it's just a great added extra touch, which is really going to help us out. And I must say, the loading screen is a hell of a lot quicker than what it is in the universe mode as well. I'm not quite sure the loading screens in the universe mode seem to take much longer, but like I said, hopefully I shouldn't make this mistake again in the future. I can't believe I hit simulate instead of calendar. That's such a noobish thing to do, but we're still early on. I'm still trying to get used to this universe mode and how it works and that sort of stuff, and hopefully within a couple of weeks or so we should be completely streamlined in theory. Now, 2 guys again that I want to do really well in this universe mode. Kenny Omega is one of my favourite wrestlers, actually. I really do like him, especially his finishing manoeuvre, the electric chair German suplex, which he has got in this game. But of course, you've also got Pentagon Jr. Pentagon was it was one of those sort of guys in wrestling where he was supposed to be playing a heel in Lucha Underground, but he was such a legit badass heel that he ended up becoming one of the most liked people on the roster, I believe. And I know they've actually started taping Season 2 of Lucha Underground over the last couple of days. And I have seen some of the results, and it looks like he's going to get a big place on the card again this year. So that's really good to see. And Kenny Omega's also been booked for the very next Pro Wrestling Guerrilla event as well. Great to see him in America again. It's not very often he gets to do Pro Wrestling Guerrilla events, but whenever he does, it is a great treat. It's the All-Star Weekend, I believe, that's coming up in December. It's either December or January, I think it is. But it's going to be a fantastic pay-per-view. They always are with Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. They never disappoint, shall we say. Every single DVD or show I've ever watched from Pro Wrestling Guerrilla has been absolutely immense. And I really like the fact that Matt Jackson outside looks so realistic this year compared to what we had last year. But they all do. Every single creator wrestler this year, even the ones that aren't fantastic, still look a lot better than any of the ones we had last year. So that's really going to help us again with the creator show, with the creator arena, with the creator wrestlers. It's really making my job here a lot easier to put on some fantastic shows for you guys. And of course, like I said before, current day roster and Attitude Era are going to have 7-match cards. That's basically because they've got a much bigger roster than the other brands. All the other brands are going to have a 6-match card. But yeah, that's the only real fixed thing we've got at the moment for you. I'm looking forward to the G1 Climax. That was one of my favourite events that we ran in 2K15. Although it was a hell of a lot of extra work for me because it meant I had to record 2 and edit and upload 2 videos a day for an entire week. It was still an absolute treat. It was a fantastic, fantastic week for me. Basically, if you don't know what the G1 Climax Festival is, I'll do it the same format this year as we did last year as well. we'll have four blocks of 4 wrestlers basically, and each person in each group will face each other once, if that makes sense. It'll be like a round robin tournament. You'll pick up points every time you win a match, and basically the person with the most wins in the group at the end of the 3 matches will go through to a semi-finals and a finals. If it comes to a situation where 2 guys end up with the same amount of victories, then it will go down to a buffer match really to decide who goes through. And like I said, we had a fantastic one in 2K15. It was actually won by Brian Cage. Brian Cage defeated lots of big people in that competition. He defeated the Ring of Honor champion at the time, Samoa Joe. He defeated, I think it was Nakamura as well. I think he defeated Sabre Jr. very easily as well. So, yeah, it was a great competition, and I'm really looking forward to doing that as our first Global Force Wrestling pay-per-view. I think we've definitely got a good roster this year. I think we've got a better roster this year than we ever had last year. I'm aware I did create this show, and I'm a little bit aware that I've sort of kept the same in the Intercontinental and top Championship tournaments. I've sort of kept the names the same at the moment, but that's been sort of forced into my hand because a couple of the American guys, of course, Beer Money, that I wanted to be big in this competition, Bobby Roode and James Storm, they're both the tag team champions now, so it's a bit more difficult to have them involved in the upper card. Mil Muertes, Prince Puma are going to be involved in a feud, and I will explain that feud a bit more next week when it begins. I'll tell you now briefly, it was because of the Global Force Wrestling Championship Tournament, the Global Championship Tournament. During the competition, Mil Muertes just sort of lost his head, pulled a baseball bat from underneath the ring and just attacked Prince Puma. So that is going to be the reason for that feud. And our other feud, as you can probably see when we started off this episode, is going to be Killshot versus Pentagon Jr. That feud is going to take place for the... is that going to be the end of the match there? Pentagon with the pin. 1, 2, and 3. And Pentagon Jr. picks up a quick victory here over Kenny Omega. That's a real shockingly quick victory, that. Don't get me wrong, Pentagon Jr. is a fantastic wrestler and deserves the victory, but that's a surprise, you know. I'm also surprised that Matt Jackson did not get involved, and I need to just double check that their face and heel statuses are correct. I'm pretty sure I've done all that already, but what a great move by Pentagon. You see him launched, he actually launched Kenny Omega into the air, then caught him in that gutbuster. There's a pin earlier on, and it looked like Pentagon was going to win from the offset. He was doing very, very well here this evening. I'm a little bit shocked that this match was so quick. It's a shame that it wasn't in the universe mode, because Pentagon would have picked up a nice little, it's not momentum, it's the other one, isn't it? So I'm still trying to get used to these status effects. We've not had a lot so far. Well, saying that we got a few last night, actually, in our first episode of Monday Night Raw. I think a few guys picked up some momentum. And we also had a look at the end of the last episode as well at some of the status effects, what they mean and how they come into effect. So I was trying to find out whether you can only get them from rivalries, but evidently not. Some of the bigger ones, the ones that really help you out, you can get not from rivalries. For example, if somebody loses 2 matches in a row, then they start to pick up the opposite to momentum, sort of cold streak, and that could be a serious problem for them. But Pentagon Jr. victorious here over Kenny Omega. Well done to Pentagon Jr. And here we go with our second match of the evening. It's going to be 2 Mexican legends in the form of Vampiro and La Parka. And here we go. There is Vampiro and La Parka. Who is going to come out on top of this one? It's going to be interesting. These are 2 guys that, of course, like I said earlier, are both Mexican legends. Just a quick side note as well, as you will also be able to see both of these guys on our Attitude Era roster. The first episode, that should be uploaded on Friday. That's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing both of these guys. Of course, I've got Vampiro in there as an additional hardcore wrestler. I'm also thinking what else he might be able to get involved in. One of my feuds I distinctly remember growing up was Sting versus Vampiro. So that might be something I look to do. That was a really gruesome feud. I think I seem to recall Vampiro just dumping loads and loads of blood onto Sting or something like that. I'm pretty sure that Sting and Vampiro actually had it was like a Human Torch match or something like that, and the only way to win was to set your opponent on fire. It was something crazy like that. I'm sure it was. I think Vampiro got set on fire. But yeah, we can definitely start to recreate some sort of feud like that. That'd be pretty good. La Parka, I have got La Parka down in my mind to be involved in the Cruiserweight Championship, mainly because he's Mexican and he has the right sort of style of wrestling. I don't necessarily think he meets the weight demands for a Cruiserweight, but I definitely think he'll be involved in that area of the roster. But of course, both these guys will also be involved on Global Force Wrestling Amped, and I've got some ideas here for both of these guys in Amped, and they're very interesting, and it's something that I really want to start to develop over the next few months. Maybe it's gonna be I'm not gonna say no. I'm not gonna say because I'll ruin it for everybody, including myself. But just keep your eye out on Global Force Wrestling Amped. There's going to be something involving both of these guys and a few other guys on this roster as well. That's really gonna freshen the whole thing up. I know I say freshen it up, we've only just started, but still, it's something a little bit different. Because these two guys, like I said, are brand new. I think I used Vampiro for one match in 2K15. I brought him back for Team Mexico when they faced Team Japan. Team Japan, of course, brought in the Great Muta as their legend, and the Mexicans brought in Vampiro as theirs. But yeah, both of these guys are going to get a lot more use this year. Like I said, both involved in both Global Force and the Attitude Era rosters as well. I did want to get a hold of guys like Psychosis and Juventud Guerrero and things like that as well, but I just can't seem to find them on the community creations. I thought they'd be ones that people might create very early on, but obviously we haven't got them yet. Especially because they just look so cool with their masks and things like that, and it would really help develop our Cruiserweight division, because there's a few guys I've got in our Cruiserweight division that are just sort of there because they're all I could get a hold of. But if I could get, like I said, Juventud and Psychosis, they're two that I really want to get a hold of. Also, Super Crazy's one as well. That Super Crazy would be quite good because I think we can be involved in the Hardcore Championship as well as, of course, being involved in the Cruiserweight division as well. So again, another very versatile. That's the word I keep looking for. A versatile guy we could download. I think Super Crazy also teamed up with Psychosis as well, didn't he? In a very racially stereotypical tag team in the WWE. Of two Mexican gardeners. A lot of tag teams in the WWE can be racially stereotyped, I believe. It's a bit like when they first put together the New Day, and they brought them in as they brought them in as like pastors, didn't they, or that sort of thing, like praise the Lord, and that sort of thing. It's a little bit racist, and the fact that they didn't they hold back the New Day's debut until Black History Month or something like that as well. It was they seem to have a lot of racially motivated tag teams, the WWE. But then again, the New Day has worked really, really well. Actually, you got to give them props for that. The three guys that I didn't really see going together so well, but it does definitely work. And they are just one of the freshest things in WWE at the moment. They've just got to make sure that they don't overdo it. But then again, WWE have had a good success with trios over the last few years. Of course, you've had the Wyatt family, and you had the Shield, and of course now you've got the New Day as well. And it seems to be the trio seems to be the things that are really holding the company together over the years. Because the Shield obviously was one thing that everyone was really in love with for a very, very long time. And yeah, I think a lot of people are missing them as well as Vampiro there with a mist. It's a very Japanese-based move, not necessarily the La Parka slides back into the ring. La Parka could be involved in the Hardcore Championship as well in the Attitude Era. I seem to recall La Parka was the chairman of the board in WCW. Essentially, he was just a guy who liked to hit people with chairs. So that's definitely something we can have a look at again, being involved in that Hardcore division. Of course, we have got a lot of ECW guys involved in Attitude Era, and that's really where the Hardcore division is going to be sort of founded. La Parka flipping over the top of Vampiro, ducking the clothesline, and here he comes back with that big, big clothesline. La Parka brings Vampiro back up to his feet, and there is the standing Inseguri, and La Parka starting to dominate this one now. And of course, both these guys could be, I was going to say involved in the Next Gen Championship. It doesn't really suit the Next Gen Championship. Of course, last year we had the Junior Heavyweight Championship, and that was the same sort of thing, really. But it was more, not necessarily for a cruiserweight, but maybe for people that are not necessarily like a major heavyweight, such as people like Mil Muertes. He's not going to be involved because of his size. Vampiro the pin has the leg hooked, not the head looked. It's only for a 2 count. Yeah, yeah, the Next Gen Championship, I think the way Jeff Jarrett is trying to do the Next Gen Championship is very similar to the X Division, essentially. There's not necessarily going to be weight limits. It's all going to be down to using the young up-and-coming stars, guys that are very, very good in the ring, can do a lot of great things as well. And I think that's essentially what we'll try and do as well. If a guy is brand new but a little bit heavy, then it's not going to be much of a problem. It's a bit like Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe was involved in the TNA X Division. He wasn't within the weight confines of what you would think the X Division would have, but he had the skill and ability to hang in there with those guys. And I think that's really what Jeff Jarrett is looking for in the Next Gen Championship, and that's what we'll sort of look for as well. Sunset flip bomb there by La Parka into the pin. Referee down slowly. 2. It's only a 2 count. Difficult to see when the referee's out of shot when he does the pin. Slightly turn my telly up. Hopefully you can't hear that, but just so I can hear the referee count when he does them sort of things. La Parka with that big gut buster. So La Parka gets hit by that big gut buster, shall I say. Vampiro brings him back up to a kneeling position. Now there's a big right hand by Vampiro as well, and that big spinning kick. Great move. Pulls La Parka into the middle of the ring. He's going to go for a pin now. 1, 2. Oh, and so close to a 3 count there. La Parka nearly had this one. I'm just losing it now. I know, I really am. Vampiro nearly had this one. La Parka was nearly out. I don't know why I'm struggling so much. I was up until literally 3 o'clock last night, finishing off the WWE video. I'm just amazed how long it took to upload. I'm sorry, I know I promised you guys it will be up by 8 o'clock in the morning, but I put that video to start uploading at 3 AM, and it still wasn't done by midday. It just took so long. I know it was an hour and 45 minutes long, so it did take quite a while. Tombstone piledrive by Vampiro here now into the pin. But is La Parka's feet under the bottom rope? Yes, it is. The referee makes him break the pin. Poor ring position there by Vampiro. Stomping on the back of La Parka. Now stomping on the leg as well. And I wonder whether La Parka should take that hood off with. I don't know. Did La Parka wrestle in his hood, or was that just an entrance part? I'm not quite sure, to tell the honest truth, but it seems to me like it would probably get on his nerves in the ring, but I may be wrong. Parka now throwing Vampiro into the corner. Vampiro with that back elbow. And there's that belly-to-belly slam by Vampiro as well. Great springboard leg drop as well by Vampiro. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what these guys will really get up to in this roster. Like I said, championship-wise, I'm not quite sure either of them are going to be at the level to go for the Intercontinental Championship, really. They're going to be probably not the right fit for the Next Gen Championship, and of course, I don't think they're going to be going World Championship anytime soon. I think storyline-wise, that we can definitely get them both involved in something I have in mind, so definitely worth keeping them here. Of course, they're going to be on the Attitude Era anyway, so they might as well stay here. It just, like I said, adds a bit of variety to both the rosters, really. But yeah, I'm looking forward to what I've got in mind. I'm really looking forward to it. And I think it will start to come into effect maybe after Global Force Wrestling's G1 Climax Festival. That's what I'm thinking. Because the couple of people involved that I've got in mind are going to be involved in that tournament. And I don't really want to do too many things at once, really. And yeah, I'm a little bit... not necessarily annoyed. It's great the fact that we managed to pick up some feuds from our championship tournaments, but I was really hoping to get the likes of Mil Muertes and Prince Puma involved in our main event here this evening to become the #1 contender for the global championship. And of course, they've sort of developed a rivalry between themselves, like I said earlier, because of Mil Muertes attacking Prince Puma during that championship tournament with a chair. Mil Muertes did get disqualified, but the damage done to Puma sent him through into the second round, very, very injured. He was put out as well, as Vampiro picks up the victory here over his fellow Mexican La Parka. And there's that guy with the sign again. And as you can see, look how good the little loading screen is, in the replay screen, sorry, in the bottom as well. It really does suit the whole thing. It really adds a lot to the show as well. I think it's going to help us keep the whole thing quite realistic. Like I said, we'll also have one of these for the Retro roster and for Ring of Honor as well. So it's going to be a real great sort of addition to this year's Universe mode. Like I said, just to add to the realism. And it did get very frustrating with with having to use like a Ring of Honor, we were using main event, and for retro roster we were using was it Night of Champions and sort of arenas. Not necessarily arenas, all the loading screens and matchup screens, and it did take a little bit away from it. We just tried to ignore it and pretend it wasn't there. But this year we've got the proper logo, we've got the proper entrance logo as well. We'll see that when we get our first championship match here this evening. Of course, you've got the little replay logo, the matchup screens. It really does, like I said, it's going to make the whole thing look and feel a lot better and more realistic as well. And a great win here for Vampiro. There it is, that sit-out Michinoku driver grabbing the legs in for the pin, and it was too much for La Parka. So Vampiro picks up the victory, and like I said yesterday in the WWE episode, I don't think you get anything for that in a non-rivalry match, but should he pick up another victory next week, maybe, or the week after, I think when you get 2 consecutive victories, that's when you start to pick up momentum boost and things like that. And here is match number 3 here this evening. It's going to be Tommy End and Michael Dante, the Sumerian Death Squad, taking on Brian Kendrick and Paul London. And here we go. We're going to start things off with Michael Dante and who is that in the ring? That is that Brian Kendrick? That is Brian Kendrick in the ring, yes. It's difficult to tell sometimes, but yeah, it's Brian Kendrick in the ring. With Michael Dante, you see Tommy End on the far side, and of course Paul London on this side on the apron as well. Now, Michael Dante and Tommy End are a tag team, the Sumerian Death Squad, which I really like, and I really hope do well in this universe mode. Somebody that I really want to get hold of last year was Tommy End. I think I finally found one of the community creations within a week of this being released, but it was not very good at all. But this year, thankfully, there is a guy in the UK. I can't remember his name. I think it might be Dan Harrington. That sort of rings a bell. And he is creating a lot of the British wrestlers for Progress Wrestling. And, of course, Tommy End, I think, is one of his. I don't think Michael Dante is one of his. I'll have to double check, but I think Tommy End is his. Zack Sabre Jr. is one that he created. Marty Skull as well. Mark Andrews is one he's created. And I think he's done Will Ospreay as well, which I wanted to get hold of. But Will Ospreay's got just a weird looking face at the moment, so hopefully that's going to get fixed at some point. But I know he's working with quite a few other guys as well. But yeah, Sumerian Death Squad, fantastic tag team. If you're not sure who they are, then be sure to keep an eye out for them on YouTube or something like that. I'm sure there's a lot of footage of Tommy End going around because he has been working the last 2 or 3 Pro Wrestling Guerrilla events. And he's also worked a few Evolve shows as well, along with all of his UK indie dates and, of course, Europe, because he is actually Dutch, Tommy End. And I believe he is he's a fairly good kickboxer. Well, maybe not kickboxer. I think it might be one of the martial arts, but you'll find a lot of his offense is from the kicks and the high knees and things like that. He's a very aggressive wrestler, a very stiff wrestler as well. I'm pretty sure on one event I went to, a Southside event, I'm pretty sure he knocked, I think it might have been Robbie X. I think he knocked Robbie X out. So Robbie X came sort of through, and he was in La La Land. He had to get sort of led to the back, and he was just down and out. But such a fantastic wrestler, Tommy. And I think probably one of the favourite matches I've ever seen live was Tommy End versus Davey Richards a couple of years ago at a Southside event. And that was just a dream match, that was. It was just full on. It really was. It was absolutely fantastic. And it's a shame I've not been able to make it to many Southside shows this year because of finances have been a little bit tight this year. But hopefully next year I'm going to hopefully try and get a lot more involved, a lot more shows like that. I really do like going to see the live wrestling. And I haven't got a massive excuse. Majority of the shows take place within a couple of hours of my house, so I've not got a massive excuse. And some of the cards they book are just, I think this year so far they've had the Young Bucks, they've had Austin Aries, Trevor Lee and Andrew Everett. They've had some fantastic names there, and I really should be going a bit more often. Big spinning kick there by Brian Kendrick here on Tommy End. And of course Tommy End was involved in the Intercontinental Championship tournament. Didn't get through. I think he got through the first round, but he didn't get through the semis. I think he was knocked out by the eventual winner, Jushin Liger. I'm pretty sure Tommy End will be involved in the G1 Climax Festival, though. I've got him penned in for that at the moment, and that'd be pretty good. Yeah, the G1 Climax Festival this year. Of course, last year I sort of involved quite a few Ring of Honor guys as well. This year we're not going to do that. We're going to stick just to the guys that are on the Global Force Wrestling roster for now. There's the quick roll-up by Brian Kendrick. 1, 2. Oh, it's only a 2 count. Tommy End kicked out. And the tattoos on Tommy End are absolutely fantastic. I don't know how these guys do it this year. That literally is, every single tattoo on his body is literally exactly what he has. So I know there's a way you can import logos and that now, isn't there? And people are doing it with tattoos, and it just works so well. Brian Kendrick throwing Tommy End into the corner, and there is the big boot. Another Russian leg sweep as well. And one match that I hope to do at some point in this universe mode, and it won't be too far away, I'm pretty sure of that. It's going to be Tommy End versus Chris Hero. That's going to be one that I've been looking forward to. It is a match that has happened a couple of times in the UK recently for companies like Southside. I think it's also happened in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla as well. It's a great match because the guys' styles mix so well. They're both very stiff workers, like I said. It's going to be very interesting, that. I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm looking forward to doing some more sort of Pro Wrestling Guerrilla style, just putting some exciting guys in the ring together and just letting them go. That's what we're going to do with our first pay-per-view this Sunday. It's going to be Mystery Vortex. And like I said, if you don't know what Mystery Vortex is, it's going to be a Ring of Honor pay-per-view, but it is a Pro Wrestling Guerrilla format. Essentially, we know the main event already. Well, I know the main event. You guys might know the main event, but it's going to be announced officially on Ring of Honor on Thursday. Apart from the main event, every other match is not going to be decided until the night. We know the Tag Team Championships and the Television Championship will be defended. But who against? The name's going to get picked out of a hat. What match type? The match type's going to get picked out of a hat. It could be anyone. Literally, we could end up having a 6-man Hell in a Cell match for the Television Championship with 5 random guys on the roster. That could happen. It's not very likely, but it's a possibility that could happen. So what we're going to do with the entire card is going to be literally picked out of a hat. You guys won't know who's in the matches until the entrances, of course, apart from the main event, which we will be announcing beforehand on this week's Ring of Honor on Thursday. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. You might know what the main event is. It's based very much off of our Ring of Honor Heavyweight Championship tournament. It was a bit of a scruffy finish to the final, and that is where we've got our main event from, really. Tommy End with a boot to the chest here. And a big one to the side of the head. There he is, rolling over Brian Kendrick. 1, 2... and that is it. Michael Dante got a hold of Paul London, and the Sumerian Death Squad get a victory here in their debut match of our 2K16 Universe Mode Global Force Wrestling Amped. And I must admit, I try and keep as impartial as possible, but I really wanted this match to end this way. I really want to just try and get the Sumerian Death Squad to a point where they're going to be a very, very strong tag team here in this universe, and they should be. They're at that sort of level in my mind. Brian Kendrick and Paul London, they're not going to be at the top end of the tag team division, don't get me wrong. They're going to be involved very much more in the junior heavyweight tag division, which was a bit of a surprise uploaded. I know I said before that I wasn't going to do that championship tournament because I didn't have enough teams available, but I did just manage to scrape it. So that should have already been uploaded before this video, as well as the introduction video should have been uploaded before this as well. So if you've not seen the introduction, I do suggest you watch that. It's only a 5-minute video or so, something like that, but it will just show you guys exactly who is on the roster, all the tag teams we currently have as well, and all the champions, all the people that won the championship tournaments, just in case you haven't had a chance to see them. You can see all of those videos. There should be one on every single roster by the end of the week. I think the only one I haven't uploaded as of yet is Ring of Honor, and that's because I just haven't uploaded the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship Tournament yet. Once that Tag Team Tournament is uploaded, then the introduction episode will be uploaded as well. That should probably be this evening when I get the first episode of Ring of Honor Television uploaded as well. So a great win here for the Sumerian Death Squad. Successful start to this universe mode. Like I said, I'm pretty sure Tommy End is going to be involved in our Global Force Wrestling G1 Climax Festival next month, or I say next month, is in 4 weeks' time. But before then, you never know, they might be able to scrounge themselves a tag team championship match. Maybe we could have a #1 contendership match next week. Let's have a bit more of a think about that and see how we feel. And our next match here this evening is going to be very much based on our Next Gen Championship. It's going to be Andrew Everett versus Mark Andrews. And here we go. Now this is going to be a great match. There's 2 fantastic wrestlers. And again, Andrew Everett was someone I was desperate to get a hold of last year on our 2K15 universe. Maybe it just was not available. And now straight away this year, here he is. And I must say, this Mark Andrews call is absolutely stunning as well. If you're not quite sure who Mark Andrews is, again, he is a British wrestler, but he was the winner of the second series of TNA's British Boot Camp. So you can see him on TNA at the moment. But he's also still working UK indie dates and that as well, I think. So to say he's not completely disappeared from the UK. I don't think he's getting on TV for TNA as much as he really should do. He is a fantastic wrestler. He has been working... He worked the Battle of Los Angeles pay-per-view, actually, for Pro Wrestling Guerrilla as well. And I think he's also booked in for the next Pro Wrestling Guerrilla event, which is the All-Star Weekend, coming up. I believe it's December. I'm not 100% sure. I only read the card the other day. It did say on there. I'm pretty sure it's December. And of course, Andrew Everett is one of the guys that is on the actual Global Force Wrestling roster. I know I had a few comments last year from people saying that I've called it Global Force Wrestling, but there's not a lot of the actual Global Force Wrestling roster on there. And although that is true, I just wanted to use Global Force Wrestling. I'm using the name really just to encapsulate everybody who doesn't really fit into the other roster. So that's why we've got quite a few of the Mexican guys, we've got the Japanese guys, a lot of the British guys. But there are quite a few people that are going to be on Global Force Wrestling. What we need to remember is that when Global Force Wrestling finally signs a TV deal in America, their roster is probably going to become a lot stronger. Don't get me wrong, they've got some half-decent guys now at the moment, but I think, like I said, once they sign that television deal, there'll be some big names being added to that roster, and probably a few of them that might be on our roster here in 2K16. Of course, they have got Magnus, and we have Magnus. Bobby Roode, I believe, is working their shows. Eric Young is as well, I believe. The Young Bucks are on there. I don't think AJ Styles is on there, though. I think Doc Gallows is booked in. So there are quite a few people that we do have on our roster that are on Global Force Wrestling. There are a few other guys I've tried to get, but are just not available on the community creations at the moment as well. There's Mark Andrews trying to show off some of his springboard agility, but Andrew Everett avoids the second one, of course. If anyone knows springboard wrestling, it's Andrew Everett. Of course, two of these guys are probably two of the highest flyers we have on this roster. And I think there's going to be some great matches between these two for the Next Gen Championship over the next year. Of course, our Next Gen Champion at the moment is Killshot. I don't know how Killshot won that competition. It's amazing because I was saying in the first round of our Next Gen Championship tournament, I was saying that Killshot was going to be probably somebody who was on the cusp of the edge of Global Force Wrestling. Should somebody better come along that we need desperately, then somebody like Killshot could be one of the guys to slowly disappear. And then he goes on and wins the Next Gen Championship and sort of locks himself a place on this roster. As long as he holds that belt, we can't get rid of him, really. But like I said, I'm sure these two guys are going to be heavily involved in going for that championship. Mark Andrews up to the top and Andrew Everett back up to his feet straight away. Mark Andrews may have been looking for his patented shooting star press there. But Andrew Everett playing possum, saw it coming. Great Hurricanrana by Andrew Everett. Mark Andrews back up to his feet and now clubbing blow across the back. And there is the Saito suplex. Andrew Everett stalking Mark Andrews. Maybe give him a little bit too much time. Andrews with that back elbow. Everett slides off the back and there's a clubbing blow to the back of himself. Now launching Andrews into the corner. Everett with a tornado DDT. In for the pin he goes. 1, 2. It's only a 2 count. Now whoever wins this competition can probably assume themselves a #1 contender, but then again I don't think it's going to be as simple as that. There's a lot of guys that that could go for the Next Gen Championship on this roster, including guys like Marty Scurll as well. He's involved. Both of the Young Bucks could be involved in singles competition as well, don't forget that. Got guys like Kenny Omega, guys like Pentagon Jr. as well. There's a really it's going to be a really highly thought of championship, and of course there is still the scope to download a few extra guys that I want to try and get a hold of as well. Let's see if I can get a good Will Ospreay, then that would be really good. Oh, Mark Andrews nearly picked up the victory there with that quick roll up. And this episode seems to be getting a lot quicker than our first episode of Monday Night Raw. I'm up to about 45 minutes now recording. Of course, once I nip out the loading screens, it's going to be a little bit shorter. probably for you guys. But we still have 2 matches left here this evening, is it? Yes, we do. We still have our 2 big matches left here this evening. We've got the Intercontinental Championship match as Jushin Thunder Liger, defends his Intercontinental Championship against Fenix and Shinsuke Nakamura. And of course we have that fatal 4-way match to become the #1 contender for AJ Styles Global Championship. He's going to defend that on week number 4 of Amped this month against the winner of tonight's main event. Andrew Everett with the pin. 1, 2. It's only a 2 count. Everett now hooks the leg, takes Mark Andrews up, and there's that Fisherman's Buster. Everett goes up high. Is he going to go for a shooting star press? And if anyone hits a shooting star press perfectly, it's Andrew Everett. But he's missed it. Mark Andrews rolls out the way, and we're going to get a replay of that, are we? Yes, we do. I've not had many of those replays so far. I sort of like them. I hope we get a few more, but Mark Andrews reverse Hurricanrana. And we've seen him use that move quite a bit recently in Pro Wrestling Guerrillas. Battle of Los Angeles. And Mark Andrews picks up a big victory here over Andrew Everett. And he's going to take some great momentum into this Global Force Wrestling Next Gen Championship division. Beating one of the top guys in that division, really, in Andrew Everett. A guy that I really assumed would win the Next Gen Championship in the tournament. Yeah, still not quite sure who's going to be the #1 contender for that Next Gen Championship. Of course, we probably want to get it defended. We probably hold on and defend that over the course of the Global Force Wrestling G1 Climax. Because it's going to be a 5-day pay-per-view, we can definitely make sure that every single championship gets defended at least once. Maybe even twice, depending on what happens. But yeah, Killshot is going to hold that belt for another 3 weeks at least. We will see Killshot next week because he's going to be involved. Ah, there we go. There we go. There's me chatting away. I forgot I was actually speaking about it a couple of matches ago, weren't I? We've got 2 feuds already penciled in. And one of them is Mil Muertes versus Prince Puma, like we discussed. And the other one is going to be Killshot versus Pentagon Jr. Because the same thing happened in that Next Gen Championship tournament. While Killshot and Pentagon were facing off in, I think it was the first round or the second round. Pentagon actually pulled a chair from underneath the ring and attacked Killshot. Killshot still managed to go on to win the competition and walk out the Next Gen champion. But that's definitely going to be a great way for us to start a feud, and that will be happening next week as well. And here is our first half of our main event here this evening. It's going to be Jushin Thunder Liger defending his Intercontinental Championship against Fenix and Shinsuke Nakamura. And here we go. San Diego, California. And like I said before, we are going to show all the entrances for championship matches and in pay-per-views. It's going to make it seem a little bit more special. And as you can see, one of the things that really annoys about this game, and it's so stupid, is the amount of character limit you have to input things, such as the worst ones are the pay-per-view names. You get, I think, like 16 or 17 characters you're allowed to put in, something stupid like that. If you go into something like tables, ladders and chairs, the game has already got preset into that about 30 characters. We've got TLC, tables, ladders, chairs. When you go and try and type over it, you can only put in half the amount of characters that it always starts with. And that's the same issue you just saw there with the entrance there of Jushin Thunder Liger. Intercontinental had to be slightly reduced to fit in, shall we say. And here is one of the challenges. It's going to be Fenix. Again, another fantastic wrestler who really hit mainstream when Lucha Underground came to American television. And that's good to see, really, because there's a lot of fantastic wrestlers around the world that we just don't know about because they're not as freely viewable, shall I say, as what we used to, like WWE and things like that. You really have to delve deep and find these other guys. Lucha Underground was a fantastic way for us to really find out about not only the Lucha Libre scene and a lot of the AAA wrestlers, but quite a few of the top up-and-coming, high-flying sort of indie wrestlers as well. Guys like Son of Havoc, Matt Cross. I'd heard of him. I'd heard he was very, very good, but I'd not seen him wrestle before. And now after watching Son of Havoc in the old Bitty Bob, in the old Lucha Underground, really started to develop a liking for him. He's a fantastic wrestler. Great sort of charisma, great in-ring ability as well. As we await the entrance here of the King of Strong Style. And that's a pretty damn good entrance attire. You can't deny that. Shinsuke Nakamura. Is that going to say Intercontinental Shinsuke Nakamura next time we see him? It's definitely a possibility here this evening. Not quite sure that the material... There we go, it's flopped now. I was going to say the material graphics weren't quite working there for a second, but they are now. Shinsuke Nakamura does look a tiny bit like Michael Jackson, that though, I must say. From behind, he does have a little hint of Michael Jackson about him, but there you go. Still a fantastic wrestler nonetheless, and this is going to be a great match. Like I said, one half of our double main event. We're going to have a triple threat here for the Intercontinental Championship. I've not done a triple threat yet on this game. I know Fatal 4-Ways have been upgraded, and they work pretty damn well. What do you guys think of that Intercontinental Championship belt? That's one that I downloaded half of it, and then I've sort of tweaked it to match what we wanted, and it does work quite well. So I forgot that screen was going to pop up. It does work quite well. I think I quite like it, but let me know what you guys think. Of course, Global Force Wrestling does not have an Intercontinental Championship, so the Global Championship, Next Gen Championship, and Tag Team Championships are all the real belts, whereas the ones that I've had to download and make myself there, the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships and the Intercontinental Championship, I think they both suit the theme pretty well. I quite like them. I think the Championship belts, the Creator belts, are a lot better than they were in 2K15. They do look a lot more realistic. And yeah, like I say, I'm not quite sure how it works in Triple Threats this year. Of course, Fatal 4-Ways, they've got it set in Fatal 4-Ways, so 2 guys fight outside the ring, 2 guys fight inside the ring, and I think that does work out pretty well. Triple Threats, not quite sure how it's going to work. It seems to be at the moment that when people get hit by high impact moves, they're going to stay down on the ground for a bit longer, so that might help people out when going for pins later on in the match, as soon as stamina starts to be affected and things like that. And the one thing I do like about this as well is that Fenix is sort of taking a back step now and just watching Shinsuke Nakamura do the damage to the champion, Jushin Thunder Liger. And that's interesting because last year on 2K15, people just constantly try and grapple. Even if people were halfway through a move, they just try and grapple constantly. And it did lead to a lot of tag team maneuvers, don't get me wrong, but still it can become very frustrating when somebody goes for a big move and that big move gets stopped because somebody just keeps trying to grapple every 2 seconds. But it looks like guys stay down slightly longer in these triple threat matches, and that's going to help one person eventually pick up the 3 count. And will Jushin Thunder Liger be able to successfully defend that Intercontinental Championship, which he fought so hard to win for in that championship tournament we uploaded last week? It seems like such a long time ago now. I've done that many championship tournaments before and since that as well. Stomping on the back of the arm of Liger there by Nakamura. Now Nakamura bringing Liger back up to his feet, and there's the big jawbreaker. Now remember, you can see Jushin Thunder Liger in many places this year. He's going to be involved in the Attitude Era, and he's going to be involved in the Retro roster, as well as being involved here in Global Force Wrestling. I think he might be used a bit more sparingly in Global Force Wrestling. I think we might just use him as more of a Legends. Essentially what we're going to do with the Undertaker, Rock and Sting and Triple H and them sort of people in the current day roster, we'll have them involved for a month or 2, maybe for a storyline, and then they'll disappear and we won't see them again for a while. But of course at the moment, Jushin Thunder Liger is very much involved here. He is the Intercontinental Champion. We can't make him disappear at all. He is going to be here, but will he still be the Intercontinental Champion in about 10-15 minutes time? We'll have to wait and find out that one. I'm hopefully going to get this one uploaded a little bit earlier for you guys. I really struggled last night. It just took so long with that episode of WWE. I just could not believe. I think the video I finally uploaded was 1 hour and 45 minutes long, which is just immense considering how much longer that is compared to the 2K15 ones. Even the pay-per-views where I was doing 7-match cards on 2K15 were all getting uploaded as about 45 minutes, something like that. So I can't imagine how long our pay-per-views are going to be every week now. When we do the G1 Climax Festival, episodes are probably going to be shorter. They'll probably be like a 5-match episode. 4 of the matches will be the tournament matches, then probably one other match that will just be there just to add a little bit of a buffer. But of course, our big finale day, which will be the Sunday, of course, that will have a full 7-match card. We'll have all the entrances and everything like that as well for that one. Essentially, the 6 days before that main 7th day pay-per-view is just going to be the build-up. So it's not going to be like a proper pay-per-view, I should imagine, but yeah, it's going to be great nonetheless. I'm really looking forward to that now. Got to really decide who's going to be in that now, though. I think I might do roughly what I tried to do last year, just try and keep it a bit more even. I might have, I've got 4 groups of 4. I might have a Japanese guy in each group, a Mexican guy in each group, an American in each group, and a Brit in each group. That might be a great way to sort of even it all out. And I think what I might do this year is I might just draw them all out of a hat once again, keep it random, see what fantastic sort of matches we can come up with. Fenix went for the Hurricanrana, and see Jushin Liger just dropping Fenix flat on his face. Now getting a hold of Nakamura, taking him up on his shoulders, and there is Jushin Thunder Liger with a Death Valley drive, but Fenix is back up on his feet and instantly breaks up the pin. Liger taking Nakamura out now. I'm getting confused between Nakamura and Fenix now, that's the worst thing. So I was looking at Nakamura lining Liger up. Shooting star press by Fenix. Now in for the pin he goes. 1, 2. It's only a 2 count. Now I do promise, I'm just going to say this right now, I do promise that my videos will get better as we get further into this universe mode. I've tried to do a bit too much too quick, I think, this year, and it's really, I'm really running myself into the ground a little bit at the moment. Not getting much sleep, spending a lot of time doing video editing and recording and things like that and uploading. Once I get probably to this weekend maybe, and I can get a few days ahead of myself, get some videos recorded and uploaded ready to go, then I think that's probably going to make it a lot easier, and we can probably pretty relax and do some more videos, some better videos as well. I said I'm struggling at the moment with my commentary. I don't know why it seems like such a simple thing just to look at somebody and say their name, but I just keep getting asked backwards all the bloody time. I can't understand why. Reverse Dragon Sleeper by Jushin Liger brings Fenix up and drops him straight into that reverse suplex. Nakamura now. Butterfly suplex on Jushin Liger. And the triple threat format sort of works in this game. It does sort of work. I've got a couple of random matches I want to try and upload in this format as well. I want to try and do some, not just some random matches that have been suggested, or random matches we want to see. I also want to maybe try and do some random matches that are copies of real matches. I might even start to do, for example, just a couple of random matches off the next up-and-coming pay-per-views and things like that. But one of the triple threat random matches I wanted to do was going to be John Cena versus Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar from Royal Rumble. That was a fantastic match, that was, and one that would be absolutely great to recreate. Also looking to do WrestleMania, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins for the championship as well. I'm just doing some stuff like that in triple threats, fatal 4-ways as well, and I have finally got a really good Kurt Angle downloaded. So we have everybody we need to do our Armageddon Hell in a Cell match as well. So that's going to be one random match that I like to try and get uploaded. Like I said, I'm going to bring back the random match series. Hopefully at some point this week. If it's not during the week, then it will definitely be up by the weekend. I know I didn't want to drop it, but I've not dropped it at all. It's just a case of, because we've been uploading so many championship tournaments and episodes of the universe mode as well, it's just had to take a little bit of a back seat for now, just so we had enough time to do everything. It shouldn't be too bad. Next couple of days, the problem is my laptop at the moment is just completely blocked up with uploading videos. It has been for days, and Fenix nearly picked up the victory there over Jushin Liger. Oh, big boot there by Nakamura. I think Liger just managed to avoid it, but Fenix catches him with that neck breaker. Nakamura going up to the middle rope. Was he a plan here? He just somersaults onto Jushin Liger. I've seen quite a few people use that somersault so far. I'm not quite sure what that's for. Salida del Sol by Kalisto. He's got the pin. Jushin Liger's down. 1, 2, 3. We've got a brand new Intercontinental Champion. It's Fenix. What a great way to start off our Global Force Wrestling Amped Universe mode here. We've got a brand new champion on episode number 1. It's a bit earlier than I expected, don't get me wrong, but still, what a great match this has been, especially for Fenix. He is walking out of here with his first piece of gold ever in my Universe mode, and it's happened on episode number 1. I'm sure Liger will be hoping to get himself a rematch, and maybe that's something we can lock in for our Global Force Wrestling G1 Climax week. Of course, the Intercontinental Championship is a very high-profile championship here in Global Force Wrestling. As we look back at some of the highlights, and yeah, I really did like the way that these triple threat matches work this year. Again, that they've sort of really improved the AI in terms of these sort of matches. It really has made them a lot better and a lot more effective for these sort of universe mode competitions as well. Especially AI versus AI, that definitely had a massive upgrade. You see the somersault here by Shinsuke Nakamura. And a punt to the back to the Liger as well, and then Fenix just catches Nakamura straight away into that Salida del Sol. See Jushin and Liger still face down on the mat, and there is the freak out. On the gold up high right now. There it is. Fenix is your new Intercontinental Champion. As I said, we're not going to have championship matches on every single episode of our Universe mode. I just wanted to make sure this first week's worth of episodes were very special, just to really give you guys a real look at what we're planning to do this year. And it means we have finally got a different champion as well. Fenix picking up a bit of gold. The first time in my Universe mode, of course, he was involved in 2K15. But he came in quite late, was part of the G1 Climax Festival himself. But yeah, never managed to get a hold of any gold, but now he finally does. Well done to Fenix. And here is our main event. It's going to be Kazuchika Okada, Adam Cole, Hiroshi Tanahashi and Zack Sabre Jr. in a fatal 4-way match to become the #1 contender for AJ Styles Global Championship. And here we go. There goes the bell. Who will be the #1 contender for AJ Styles Global Championship? Of course, like I said earlier on, whoever wins this match will get their championship opportunity at week number 4 on Amped. No, we don't want to have the championship match at the pay-per-view because, of course, the champion, whoever it's going to be at that point in time, will be involved in that G1 Climax Festival. All 4 of these guys will be involved in the G1 Climax Festival alongside AJ Styles as well. If the global champion is knocked out before the semi-finals and the finals, then of course we will have a championship match on our big finale episode as well. But that is an if. It did happen last year where Kazuchika Okada was knocked out before the end of the competition, and he did have to defend his championship again. It was against AJ Styles actually, and he successfully defeated him. And of course, like I said, I think only Tanahashi, Okada and Brian Cage held the Global Championship last year on my 2K15 Universe mode. So AJ Styles is a brand new fresh champion for us, and Zack Sabre Jr. had very many opportunities last year. I gifted him many opportunities. He actually came in and his very first feud in the Universe mode was for that Global Championship, but he never managed to pull it off. I think the main reasons for that is because, like I mentioned in a few of my videos, Zack Sabre Jr. is a very submission-based wrestler, and submission styles seem to struggle on these games. Front chanter now by Zack Sabre Jr. now twisting the arm and sending Tanahashi face first into the mat. And again, if you're not really aware of Zack Sabre Jr., then have a quick look on YouTube. He is an absolutely incredible wrestler. You can check out again some of the Pro Wrestling Guerrilla sort of event sort of videos, especially the most recent Battle of Los Angeles ones. Zack Sabre Jr. was involved in that heavily, and it's definitely worth a watch. Like I said, he's an absolutely incredible wrestler, one of the best in the world, if not the best in the world. I've said a few times, I think for me, the best 2 wrestlers in the world are Ricochet and Zack Sabre Jr. Fantastic. Zack Sabre Jr. probably the best technical wrestler in the world, and Ricochet is a fantastic all-rounder, very agile, very strong, and just hits everything with no wasted motion. Everything just hits perfectly and just works perfectly as well. I'm surprised that both Ricochet and Zack Sabre Jr. have not been picked up by the WWE yet. I think Zack Sabre Jr. is not going to be too far away, because I know they actually had an article on him on the WWE website recently. I think it was top 6 Evolved stars to watch out for in WWE, something along that sort of lines. And Zack Sabre Jr. was involved in that article. And I'm pretty sure Ricochet has had trials for WWE before. I'm not quite sure they didn't work out beforehand, but I know they're definitely looking at him right now. I think the idea was to bring him in and take him straight to the main event picture in NXT, which does not surprise me at all. He is that sort of level. But I think he does have, believe it or not, he has a 7-year contract with Lucha Underground. Even though Lucha Underground were not sure they were going to make it to Series number 2, he has a 7-year contract. But I'm assuming it's very much like football. I'm assuming that if WWE want him, they could buy him out of the contract. That's what I'm assuming. Either that or Ricochet might even have a clause in there saying that that if WWE comes along, he could walk. Evidently, it works for Alberto Del Rio, didn't it? Yeah. Del Rio leaves WWE, joins AAA, joins Lucha Underground, and then just surprisingly returns back at WWE without even the guys at Lucha Underground or AAA knowing. Okada there with a tombstone power driver on Adam Cole. In for the pin he goes. 1, 2. He's done it. He has done it. Wow, that was a quick main event. I was not expecting to be that quick. Momentum is actually on slow for this match. I turned the momentum down to make it a longer and more epic match, and it ended up being one of the quickest ones of the night. Obviously, the damage must have been done to Adam Cole on the outside throughout this match. Okada brings him in and hits him with the tombstone power driver. And it's going to be Okada versus AJ Styles on week number 4 of this Universe mode on Amped for the Global Championship. Now, that's going to be an interesting match, to say the least. I think we could have our main event championship changing hands on our weekly show. That's just how crazy this Universe mode is going to be. But of course, like I said, that's mainly because both Okada and AJ Styles will be involved in the G1 Climax Festival. And I didn't want to take them out to the championship as well, so the championship will be defended beforehand. And like I said, if the likes of either AJ Styles or AJ Styles or Kazuchika Okada gets eliminated, whoever the champion is at the time gets eliminated before the end of the G1 Climax, then of course they will be defending that championship on that pay-per-view as well. But either way, it's Okada who is victorious. He is going on to week number 4, like I said, of Global Amped, and he is going to be fighting AJ Styles for that coveted Global Championship. Alright guys, that is the end of this episode. I apologise for my poor commentary and getting everybody's names wrong. Like I said, it's been a bit of a hectic week trying to get these episodes uploaded, but by episode number 2 we should be a bit clear, because I can get a few days ahead of myself and really just relax a bit more and enjoy them, rather than rushing to try and get them online as early as I possibly can for you. Of course, if you could like this video, absolutely fantastic. It's the first episode of Amped. It's really going to help us out, really give us a lot of motivation to go forward and record some more as well. And of course, subscribe for a lot more 2K16 footage. Within the next couple of weeks, I've got a friend of mine coming up, and we're planning on doing some dual commentary for a few episodes. I'm hoping that's going to work out pretty well. We're going to have some really good episodes. We're going to do some random matches, as well as hopefully knock out at least maybe one episode for each brand. It depends. I know these episodes take a long time to record these days, but that's going to be really good. That's going to be, hopefully, that should be probably ready for week number 4. We may even get that ready for our, maybe it's either going to be the NXT pay-per-view arrival, or it will be our first WWE pay-per-view, which is going to be, of course, Extreme Rules at the end of this month. Whatever guys, I think I'm going to leave the video right there. So like I said, please hit that thumbs up button, and the subscribe button does help me out quite a lot. And I'll see you tomorrow for NXT.